what other freedom, we spoke about like the freedom to express an opinion, right? Is the reason for you want to take your children out of the United States. What are some of the other things that need to change? Some of the other freedoms, whether they're cultural or political, that you think your family can enjoy better elsewhere? What are some of the other things?
So I want to clarify again, it's not that I'm afraid of the government encroaching on the rights of my children or myself or my family. It's because of the culture. The average everyday person is starting to accept the normalization of these extreme political beliefs, which leaves people either very vocal or very quiet.
Isolated.
Yeah. And I don't want my children to think that that is what America is. I want my children to understand America is far more special than even the average American understands. But the only way to give them that perspective is to get them out of here. Anybody who's traveled outside of the United States, you being one of them, you have seen how the world works. And you have seen what it is about the United States that makes us so special. Turn on your sink and you can drink the water that comes out of your sink. You can't do that in most of the world. You can go to a restaurant and expect the food to be clean. You can't expect that in most of the world, right? Only in your first world Western ideological countries do they even have the systems in place to make sure that food and water are clean or available to people, right? The United States is an extremely special place. That's why I served in uniform. That's why I served at CIA. It's why we did what we did in our book Shadow Cell. It's because we believe in the United States. But what the United States is choosing to do to itself right now is not what so many veterans, is not what so many of us fought for 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago. It's not what the boomers fought for either. The United States is going through its adolescence. We are forgetting how young we are as a country compared to everybody else, right? There were kingdoms in France. There was an empire in Turkey long before there was there was a constitution of the United States, right? So we have to evolve. Our Civil War was so recent that it's laughable to all the other countries who have had civil wars. Yeah. Right?
My grandpa met people that fought in the Civil War. How crazy is that?
And that's how recent this stuff was, right? So the United States is going through its adolescence to decide what we really want to be. Don't forget, the United States is a giant experiment. This whole idea of representative democracy is a giant experiment. So while the United States figures that out, I have to take the very real responsibility of being a father first. I'm not a patriot first. I'm not a businessman first. I'm not even a husband first. Anybody who's a parent knows that this is the reality. When your kids are under the age of 18, you don't get to be any of those things first. You have to be a father first. You have to protect your children, feed your children, educate your children, care for your children. I believe I can do all of those things and equip my children to be more successful as global citizens if I take them out of the United States for the period of time that the United States decides what it wants to be.
But is it like racism?
No.
Is it...
The United States is not a racist country.
Is it education then?
Nope.
So then what do you not like about You Live a Great Life?
It has nothing to do with not liking the United States. That's my whole point. The United States is it's going to go through some very difficult times. Very simple understanding, right? I can see that you're confused. Here's a very simple example. If I continue my life, I live a great life, just like you said. We've got a multi-million-dollar business. We've got a huge media footprint. Like life is grand, right? I'm traveling all over the world all the time. It's great. I'm not bitching about my life. If the United States goes where I think it's going to go, we're going to see continued inflation of the US dollar, which means every US dollar that we have is going to comparatively decrease in value against foreign currency. Now, what happens if I take my family and we live in Europe, anywhere in Europe? Let's just throw out a country, Greece, right? We live in Greece. We convert our US dollars, which are constantly inflating. We convert our US dollars into euros, which is a very stable currency. In the same period of time, in 5 years worth of time, the amount of US dollars goes down because the value of those US dollars goes down because inflation is going up. The euro is stable. So every time I convert those dollars to euros, my euros stay stable.
So you get wealthier.
I get wealthier when I come back to the United States because now my euros are worth $4 each.
Right.
So, and I get to do that at the same time that I show my children what life is like outside the United States, that I teach them a second or a third language, that we live on beautiful white coastal beaches outside of anybody's conflict zone, because no one's going to drop bombs on Greece anytime soon.
Right.
No one's going to invade Greece anytime soon, right?
Right.
Greece has its own issues if you're Greek.
Yeah.
But if you're an American citizen living abroad, life is even grander than if you're an American citizen in the United States. That's what I want my children to understand. That's what CIA taught me. It's so much more convenient to be an American outside of the United States than to be an American inside of the United States. Doesn't mean I'm going to renounce my citizenship. I'm going to keep being an American taxpayer. I'm going to keep being an American voter. I'm going to keep being an American apologist because I love the United States. I'm just saying that what we're doing to ourselves as individuals inside the United States is not what was intended for us.
For me, it was actually when I got back from South America last week and I saw that Charlie Kirk had been killed, it made me incredibly, and then I saw, the responses from both sides. I can't explain it. It's not something tangible.
CIA believes that all people are born with a spy secret superpower. For some people, that means they can win deals. For others, they can spot liars. Some can even seduce lovers. I built a free 3-minute test to help reveal to you exactly what your secret hidden superpower is. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below, take the test, and start using your spy superpower to stay ahead of 99% of people.
It's I feel stressed out. I feel sad. I feel depressed. I feel helpless. And I know things are just going to keep getting worse. Yeah, that's kind of what makes me, it's not tangible. You know what I mean? It's like, it makes me want to move to Uruguay.
Yeah.
It makes me want to move to a non-conflicted, I want to get my head clear. Like the stress, the vibration,
The noise
and the stress and the low vibration of this culture is degrading to the mind, to the body, to the soul. That's I don't know. Is this making any sense?
It makes total sense. I mean, in your own words, it makes total sense. And that's what we're all feeling. So I know that we're talking about me, and I don't really think that I'm a interesting person to talk about. If you look at the actual metrics, here's one for you, John. Take a look at how many Americans.
Mike, please.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm talking away from the mic. How many Americans, or what is the trend in wealthy Americans leaving the United States? What is the trend in wealthy Americans leaving the United States? What is the trend in golden visas for American citizens? Mm-hmm. Because what you're going to find, and we'll let John do his in 25 minutes from now, I'll have an answer. But what you're going to find is that people of wealth, people who have money, people who have investments, people who have responsibilities, have dependents, are finding their way abroad. They are doing it to diversify their risk, because staying in the United States is increasing your risk. Even if you have money, keeping your money in the United States is increasing risk. So they're diversifying it in foreign stock markets and foreign property and foreign businesses. Right. Not because they don't believe in the United States, but because it's wise to diversify risk, because it's very unpredictable here right now. So I might be the one talking about it on air, but there are tens of thousands of people who are not talking about it, who have net worths of 2 to 200 million, who are all investing abroad.
And it's not even just the millionaires, it's remote workers.
True.
That's why they hate them in Mexico City, because these gringos move there and, they're just kind of shitheads. They don't speak the language. They're annoying, and they drive the price of rent up. So there's problems with Americans going abroad too, but it's the foreign worker. It's the person that works for Google in LA that makes $150,000 a year, doesn't have to go into the office. 150 in LA ain't shit.
Right.
But when they
go to Idaho or when they go to South America,
you can work and live in Medellin, right? So
it just makes sense, and it just makes sense for the people who have the opportunity to do that. So then the only people who are really looking at it saying, "Why would you do that?" are all the people who don't have the opportunity to do that,
right? And
who are either jealous or recognize that they have not invested in themselves to the point where they can make that jump yet. Here's one of the things that's fascinating: only 20 of all the people in the United States eligible for a passport, only 25% have a passport. So only 1 out of every 4 people eligible for a passport actually has a passport. which means they can't leave the country.
Everybody's eligible. Every citizen is above 18.
Over 18, yep, exactly
is eligible
right.
for passport. So people I think it's increasing, but you're right. Americans basically don't go anywhere.
Of the 25% of people that have a passport, only 25% use their passport to go further than Canada or Mexico.
Right.
So you're talking about 7% of all American citizens eligible for a passport actually have it and have used it to go further than Canada or Mexico.
Right.
So you're not talking about a large population that is even capable of leaving the United States, let alone getting a visa to be a digital nomad or getting a visa. Dude, if you start a business, if you are an entrepreneur, if you have an LLC, any country in the world will let you get a long-term visa to stay in their country because what they don't have in their country are people who know how to start a business.
Right.
Entrepreneurs can shape the whole world. You can write your own ticket and an LLC is $135 away.
And even though they protest in a lot of these cities against like over tourism and stuff like that, the governments want Americans. They want that money because you spend money there.
They want your US dollar,
especially in Greece. Here. It props up, they need something. They got to do something over there.
And Europe again. And
Portugal's a big one.
You can't say that any place is better than the United States, but you also can't say that any place is worse than the United States.
Right.
Every place is going through its own transition. The question becomes, what place in the world has the best advantages for you and for your family? For many people, that is the United States. If you own an American business that serves your local community, like if you're a landscaper in Colorado Springs. Mm-hmm. All of your clients live in Colorado Springs. All of your employees may be foreign or not foreign workers. Who cares? Right. But everything is tied to the US dollar. Everything is in the United States. It doesn't make any sense for you to try to leave. Right. You could start a new landscaping business in Tulum, but why? If you're in the United States and your business is in the United States, as the dollar inflates, your business continues to grow because that's the magic behind inflation. That's what the average person doesn't understand. When interest rates drop and stock market rises and property prices rise, if you have money in investments or if you have money in property,
you own assets,
all of that money increases, even though the per dollar.
It's a transfer to the top wealthiest.
And that's
percentile.
why wealthy people stay wealthy because inflation doesn't bother them. The value per dollar might go down, but the number of total dollars always goes up. And that makes a very good headline for politicians to say the stock market is on the rise. Property values are on the rise. They don't have to say property values are on the rise, but each dollar has lost 10% of its value.
So, and it's just getting harder, even for people that own landscaping businesses. They got to make a lot more money to cover inflation, cover the rising cost of living. Do you feel like in a certain way, you leaving America, you're part of the problem? Because the talent that you have, the value that you bring, the tax money. I know you're going to pay taxes, you say. I get it. But when talent, this is what happens when countries in decline. Talent leaves. So aren't you part of the... Do you feel conflicted about that at all?
I'm pretty sure if we take a look at your comments right now, I'm not part of the talent.
You are, dude. Come on, man. We all know it. No, we need entrepreneurs like you. So it's almost speeding up. It's speeding up the problem.
It's a valid point. And this is what all people need to understand.
Like if you love America, stay and fight for it.
Yeah, but
is the argument.
How many people have stayed in relationships because they love the other person more than that person loved them? Right?
Yeah.
We have to
that's
we have
profound.
to keep that in mind. We have to keep that in mind. The federal government, the government is not there to take care of the people. The government is there to take care of the government. The relationship between the government and the people is that the people get the benefits of the government if they follow the laws and pay taxes. The government gets the benefits of the people if the government incentivizes the people to stay. The reason the United States exists is because other governments around the world couldn't incentivize their people to stay. So their people left and came here. Our government needs a reminder that its job is to incentivize us to stay because we can leave too, right?
So you're not getting enough for your money.
So why would I invest my money, my time, my family here
totally
when I could take them somewhere else? It's maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I take them to whatever, Greece, Croatia, Georgia. Maybe I take them somewhere else and it's a massive mistake. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and come right back home again and then try it again here.
Right.
Right. But that failure is on us.
Right.
We need to understand, everybody needs to understand that the reason wealthy people are leaving, the reason that people are diversifying their investments outside of US currency and outside of US property is because the government is not incentivizing those people to stay.
Totally. You know who does a really good job of that, unfortunately, are the Arab states. Those governments really, they act as literally like we're at your service. Like you're at a hotel.
Absolutely.
And they're really like incentivizing people. And you're absolutely right. It's like, it's a relationship. I'm not getting enough reciprocity out of this relationship. That makes sense, dude. That makes sense. But you're not going anywhere to fail though.
Well, the goal is never to fail.
Yeah.
Right. The goal for us is partly to focus on the family, which means I get to kind of leave this world behind, right?
Totally.
Change my appearance, stop appearing all over the world, or
stop traveling so much.
Yeah, man, and just be with my kids, especially when my kids hit their teenage years,
right?
And when they really need that mentorship from dad, right? That's the job,
right?
So that's what I got to do.